morning, Mesa and all adjoining areas. It's March's episode of Mesa Morning Live. It's a pleasure to be with you once again this month, coming to you from the Channel 11 studios here in downtown Mesa, who've been so gracious as to open up and share their top-notch team with us as we try and maneuver our way through hopefully the tail end of the pandemic and get back to the real world. But in the meantime, boy, we're in good hands here. They make us look like we know what we're doing and produce this into a technically beautiful episode of Mesa Morning Live. Speaking of beautiful, it's a pleasure. We don't always have, or I don't always have a co-host, but this month we've got not just a co-host, but my favorite co-host. Ooh. Because she's my boss. She's the president and CEO of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. Please welcome Sally Harrison.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Sally. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, good to be back.
Do you know, there's many reasons you're my favorite co-host, but you know what one of my reasons is?
A paycheck.
A paycheck. Okay, that's number one. Number two?
Yeah.
Let's talk about this a little bit. I'll let you talk about it.
Well, I needed to bring treats in to our Channel 11 team here, so I thought I'd bring you a buntlet from Nothing Bundt Cakes. Yeah.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
Salted caramel.
And you told me it's your new favorite food.
Yeah, it is. And it's not going to last long, so I had to get by there.
Oh, good. Yeah. I'm going to put it over here, away from you.
Mm-hmm. Good idea.
And we won't tell my wife that this happened because she's
our little secret.
She doesn't need to know about it because it's not keto friendly.
No, it's probably not.
Neither am I, evidently. Hey, it's great to be here. Tell us a little bit about what's going on. What's the team at the Mesa Chamber working on these days?
Well, we're back in the office, and we are working on State of the City. We have a golf tournament coming up in April. We've got a whole lineup of some kind of educational and informational sessions that we're doing with our friend Larry Young. Lots.
Speaking of golf tournament, is that something that somebody watching this show could
I think we have
sign up?
a few foursomes left, not very many, but just go online to the mesachamber.org site, and there's a whole section about the golf tournament.
Speaking of which, that is one of the most COVID-friendly activity. I don't know if that's not the right terminology, but you
been very
play
popular.
Golf.
Yeah.
I was talking to a very important guy in the Arizona golf scene last night. He told me all the golf courses are 30% more than they've ever done. Yeah. Because people want to be out in the fresh air. And
COVID's been good to golf.
Yeah, COVID has been very good to golf. The one thing COVID's been good for. Yeah. But anyway, it's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much. Thank you for those of you that are tuning in maybe for the first time. This is what we do once a month, and when things get back to normal, we invite you to come in to us at Crescent Crown Distributing up on Broadway, because it's a phenomenal way to see this show live. But the next best thing is what we're doing today.
Yes.
We got a great guest, downtown Mesa. If you've not been down here lately, I come down here once a month to do this. It changes every month.
Yeah.
It's crazy what's going on. It's a hub of activity. One of the greatest components of all this activity is what's going on with Benedictine University.
Yes.
And our first guest today is, I'm going to make sure I get his title right, because he's joining us again. He's been with us live and also now on camera. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Benedictine University in Mesa. Please welcome Kevin Brockling. Kevin, good to have you here. Is it Brockling?
Mark, good to see you again.
Brockling, yeah.
Brockling. We'll edit that out. No one will ever know. It's Kevin Brockling.
I've been called many, many things, Mark, and I get flashbacks to my grade school days because of how my name sounds sometimes. But I'll be okay. I'll make it through it.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I know you're important because they've got the big B for Brockling behind your right ear there. or that may be for Benedictine. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what's your background?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm originally from Illinois. I grew up in Southern Illinois, outside of St. Louis, but I've been working with Benedictine University for 20 years now, in various capacities in enrollment and student life and administration, and now serving as the CEO for our campus out here in Mesa, Arizona. In my free time, I am a husband to my wife Monica. It's been 11 years now. I have a son no, it's been more than 11 years. Don't tell my wife that, but it's been like 14. I have a son who is 11 years old, though. And we've lived out here in Arizona for 6 years now. I do, when I'm not working, I do a lot of stuff. I have more interest than I have time, quite frankly, but it's a lot of fun to be curious. So that's why I do a lot of things.
That's awesome. Well, you're from Illinois. Are you a Cubs fan?
Oh, no.
Why?
No. I'm from downstate Illinois. I appreciate the baseball that comes out of St. Louis. I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan. And that 55 rivalry, you just gave me a little bit of a tick, Mark. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
That's okay.
But the Cardinals, they look to have a really good team this year. I'm not going to say anything bad about the Cubs. I appreciate that they get to play baseball here in Mesa. I enjoy going to the games when I can. I don't know if I'll be able to go this year, but I always enjoyed the rivalry between the Cardinals and the Cubs, and I always enjoyed a little bit more when it's in St. Louis and the Cardinals win.
That's great. Yeah, that's a great rivalry. I'm from Missouri, so I know all about the Cardinal-Cubs rivalry. It's a good one. I just thought I'd encourage you to get out and see some spring training, but I know you're a busy man. What's going on at Benedictine that requires so much of your time you can't sneak out and see a couple of spring training games?
Well, I don't know if you know about this pandemic that's going on, but it kind of changed everything we do about everything. But outside of that, some of the really exciting things that we have going on are the relationship with Cahoots and the Cahoots Institute for Entrepreneurship that we're bringing on. We began this conversation with Cahoots a long time ago, several years ago, actually. And it's been kind of a work in progress. And the vision that we have is that a lot of the students who have been coming to Benedictine University are first-generation students who have an interest in doing their own thing and starting their own business and being their own boss. And a lot of this generation, too, that we see, they have that mindset, the mentality. Unlike me, where when I logged in to check my email, I had to go through that phone noise, I don't remember what the modem noise. Yeah, students don't have to do that anymore because there's so much technology that's being integrated into their lives. It's easier for this generation to be able to create new opportunities to do things, to solve problems, to create businesses and services for the community. So it's been really interesting to see that population of students coming to Benedictine, but then want to create an opportunity. So I was introduced to Jenny and Odin at Cahoots, and very quickly we aligned values. The students that we serve aligned with the populations that they want to serve, and specifically, how do they help young women and minority populations have greater access to the entrepreneurial world, to the resources that are available to them. We're serving those students. 60% of our students are women on campus. The majority of our students are minority population students. So we those aligned services and interests that we're providing. So coming together was really exciting and a good opportunity. Now, the idea behind the Cahoots Institute is to essentially, from the point the student enters the university, they will be mentored by Jenny and Odin and the entrepreneurs of Cahoots. They will learn the ins and outs of entrepreneurship, how to start a business, all of those things that you kind of learn on your own when you kind of do it on your own. But they're going to do it kind of currently, they'll learn the theory of entrepreneurship, the theories of management, the theories of marketing in the classroom at Benedictine. And they get the practical application of those theories and the mentorship from people who have been doing it every single day. And that hands-on pragmatic approach to learning is what I believe is going to set this apart. It's really going to create an opportunity to allow a young person to get into entrepreneurship and realize success much earlier. But we also know that there are going to be students who don't make it through and don't start a business, and they realize they've fallen out of love. But the value of the things that we're teaching here is teamwork, collaboration, communication. All of these things make you an entrepreneur as well as a good entrepreneur. And an entrepreneur is, how do you contribute to the team at a company that you work for so that you can help innovate and be creative and problem solve while you're working for a company, even if you're not starting your own business. So we're really excited for it. I think optimistic that it'll be a good, popular addition to the downtown to have cahoots with us, and then addition to the innovation district that the city is working towards.
That's great. I know a lot of your students are very active in the chamber. It's almost like a junior chamber of commerce from a lot of your students. Would you like to speak to that a little bit?
Well, it is exactly a junior chamber of commerce, and that is the brainchild of our president, Charlie Gregory, our founding mother, Joe Wilson, and Sally came together and created, they do that. And our president is really good at that, and Joe is really good at that, and Sally's very creative, and she can do anything. You just ask her. So they came together on coffee, and they came up with this idea and created the first and only junior chamber of commerce in the state of Arizona. And we're excited to have the opportunity to do that. We have a number of students who are in the program now. They get to work with Sally and Bob and the chamber staff and learn from them, observe how that works. And so many of our young people today, how to do the networking thing, right? I mean, they're very social people, but they're very digitally social. They're very reliant on that. So forcing them into an environment and a situation where they're learning more how to do that interpersonal activity, I think it's been one of the great benefits. A lot of the students that I work with, they're just really nervous about that thing. How do you interact with people? How do you make small talk? How do you do these things that really we're all not good at it? You just have to keep practicing. And this is a great opportunity for students to be exposed to some amazing leadership from Sally and Bob and business leaders here in the community, and to really learn how to do that in a fun way. If you've been on the chamber, in the chamber offices at all, you know that it's a fun place to be. So I think our students have really enjoyed it quite a bit.
Well, I hope they've learned a lot, but I hope they don't, there's not 100% of the things that go on in that chamber office that are beneficial for them. I hope they've learned to weed out a few things when it comes to Sally and Bob. No, I'm kidding. They're awesome. And you're right. Kids today, a lot of it is, I love the term used, digitally, they're interactive, but face-to-face, that's a challenge. So what a great opportunity for them. I should have asked this question earlier. Talk a little bit about Benedict and where did that start and how long have they been? I know you've been here 6 years. How long has the university been here and how did they end up in Mesa?
Yeah, we came at the invitation of the city of Mesa, and we've been really trying to be good partners and partners with the city since we arrived. The city created their RFP for education in 2011. We responded in 2012, had our first class of students in 2013. And just kind of been growing and evolving ever since. So that this past year, we've over 500 students on our campus, 17 different academic programs, a master's in business administration. And we're looking at and excited for some of the new programs that we're bringing and that are on the horizon too. We're in growth mode. And one of the many, many things that I've really appreciated about Mesa and the environment that our city leaders and our founding mothers and fathers have created for us here in Mesa is that it's such a collaborative community. You can go and have a conversation with anybody and say, this is what I'm thinking. And people say, that's a great idea. What if we took a different approach and we did this? And then suddenly you have a partner, right? There are other parts of the country where such conversations are much harder to have. And here in Mesa, people want to work together. People want to grow together. And I think that's been one of the many things that I've really enjoyed about being here.
Well, I'll tell you what, if your university grows at the pace that Mesa's growing, you're going to take over everything. It's amazing amount of growth. How many students do you have now, ballpark? You probably know exactly, but give us a rounded off number here.
Yeah, we started the fall with 534.
Wow, that's great. Where's that beautiful building that's behind you? Where's the physical address of that?
That's 225 East Main, but we actually we have 4 different buildings that we use in downtown Mesa. 225 East Main is our primary building. That's where the administrative offices are, many of the classrooms are for most of our programs. But through the city of Mesa and their HEAT initiative, they renovated the forensics lab that was over by the police department. And we actually use most of the first floor there now. Our athletic department is there. We have a couple of faculty offices there as well. Our health science program is mostly taught out of that area. We partnered with the Mesa Art Space, and we offer classes at that facility now in one of their studios. And we've also had and hosted exhibits right there at Mesa Art Space, which is right down the road on Hibbert, just right down from our campus, Gillette Hall. And then we have the Alhambra, which is a 56-bed residence hall that we worked with venue properties, so Lorenzo Perez and John Kitchell, to take that historic building, upgrade it, renovate it. It's been recognized by Local First Arizona for the adaptive reuse of that space and that building. And it's just a really neat 56-bed facility that we have right here downtown as well. So with everything going on downtown, in fact, I just talked to our marketing and enrollment person yesterday that there's so much happening downtown. It's such an exciting place to be. There are new breweries coming in. The Cider Core is there. The entertainment that is downtown with the MAC and the amphitheater at the Nile Theater. There's so much going on downtown. The coffee shops, love the coffee. It's just a great place to be. And we like to think that everybody's coming downtown because we were here first. Seems logical, right?
You mentioned coffee shops, which I can relate to. When I was in college, the breweries and the bars, that never really interested me. That's how I was able to squeeze a 4-year education into 6 years. But that's a whole nother story for another day. Hey, you mentioned athletics. I know that's kind of a bragging point for you. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, in our short history, in our short time here in Mesa, we actually, in the 140-year history of Benedictine University, there has never been a national championship until when our men's volleyball team went to the national tournament and won the whole thing. Definitely a point of pride. Tomorrow, actually, our men and women's basketball team are heading to the national tournament as well. They're competing in Idaho for the first time ever at the national tournament. Our baseball team also ranked nationally. They're number 13 in the nation. I believe it's the most recent ranking that they had. So we've been very fortunate. We've had a lot of success in athletics, and that's been a great way for us to build our student life, to build our school spirit, to build enrollment, and to give those students a great experience. We do that in partnership with so many different organizations in the community. Las Sendas is our home golf course. The city of Mesa Parks and Rec is our practice and home fields. The LDS Church at the Stake Center, we work with them a little bit as well for practice facilities. So it's been a really good thing for us, and we're really proud as Redhawks. We're really proud of the work that our athletes do. Wow,
that is to be able to call Las Sendas your home course. That's pretty strong right there. Well, I'm sure my co-host Sally, she's got a great relationship with everything that's going on. Do you have anything you'd like to ask or add or
He added everything. He covered it. There's a lot going on downtown, but Benedictine and Cahoots is definitely going to be a point of pride for everybody.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, I know you're a busy man. Thank you for taking time. And I'll never mispronounce your name now that I know more about you, because I know you're a St. Louis Cardinal fan. And so when I think of the Cardinals, I think of Lou Brock. So I'll think of Brockling. And I'll never,
there you go.
Because the spellings, see, I got you locked in now.
You might be an educator at heart, Mark. I mean, to be able to come up with ways to memorize these things and remember these things, you might want to consider a career change. In
my next life, yeah, I'm pretty smart. I can't remember where I parked 20 minutes ago, but I remember Brockling. So thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day. To those of you that might have, you know what, there's people watching this show right now, and they're now more interested than ever in your university. How could they find out more about it and find out if their kids or grandkids might be a good fit?
Yeah, well, we accept students of all ages. We have programs for everybody. But ben.edu/Mesa is a great place to start. You can come on campus even during the pandemic. We have staff on campus days a week who can meet with you and talk about programs that we have available. So feel free to come out, experience who we are as a Benedictine institution, the Benedictine difference. We believe that it's unique and it's special, and it's a values-driven and values-focused education that we provide for our students. So come on down, check us out.
That's great. Kevin, thanks again for taking time out of your busy day. Keep up the good work. Keep growing. 5 years from now, prediction, how many students are you going to have? Mark,
the president and I talk on a regular basis, and I think our potential out here is to certainly have more students in Mesa than we have in Lisle. Because of the students who are here, because of the community that's here, because of the unique opportunity that we offer, we're going to have more than 2,000 students. Not in 5 years, but the time is coming where we're going to be growing into that kind of size. But I do want to say we don't judge our success by the number, although the number is important. Obviously, our success is our students who graduate. Those students who are working at Banner Medical right now, the students who are working for Indeed.com, who are working for State Farm, who are working here in downtown Mesa, work for the city of Mesa in the police department. Those are our success stories right there. And that's where we continue to be proud of our alumni and the work that they do. That's
awesome. Well said, and thank you very much. And
thank you.
When this is all behind us, well, we can't wait to have you come back face to face for another appearance at Mesa Morning Live. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to see you, Mark.
Hey, thanks. He said that like he meant it.
Well, it's a different time of day. He likes getting up a little later than the normal Mesa Morning Live's filmed.
I know. Yeah, Mesa Morning Live. We need to talk about that. When we get back to the real world.
That'll be another day.
That'll be another day. But that's great. And you know what? There are a lot of kids that are finishing up high school. They're thinking about what do they do next, and they're going to be college bound.
Yes, they are.
How's that for a segue?
Nice segue, yes.
Into our next guest. Our next part of the episode is what we do every month. It's our community spotlight, and this is sponsored by the great folks at Gateway Bank. For more than 14 years, Gateway Bank has been a Mesa-based, if you want to have a great personal relationship or a business relationship, go get an account, get a relationship going with Gateway Bank. I'm going to introduce our next guest properly here. College Bound Arizona nurtures the potential that East Valley students have. They want to go to a college. They don't know where to go. They need some help. They need some guidance. Boom, here we go. Our show program manager, please welcome our next guest, Samantha Hui. Samantha, welcome to Mesa Morning Live.
Hi.
It's good to have you here. I think this is your first appearance on Mesa Morning Live. Is this kind of a dream come true for you?
Yeah, I've been dreaming about it since the day I was born, yes.
That is awesome. Well, some dreams do come true, Samantha. Tell us a little bit about College Bound and what you do there, and maybe a little bit of your background. I'll just kind of open it up and let you speak to what you'd like to.
Sure. So College Bound has been around for about 10 years now. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and it was created and run by Elizabeth Paulus. She's the executive director there, and up until really this year, she was a one-woman show. So she was working with every student, just intimately trying to get them into college. So College Bound is a college access program that works with low-income, marginalized, underrepresented students, starting from middle school. We work with them in high school, their senior year, really getting them through the process of applying to school, applying for scholarships, and getting to college and making it through college too. We're not just there like, here, get into college and go off on your own, good luck. We really try to resource them. We talk with them after they graduate high school. We follow up with them when they are in college, and we make sure that they're doing all right. Because when they come from a background, maybe a first generation sort of background where they don't have that one-to-one guidance, they don't have that sort of college going mindset at the get-go, we want to make sure that they're resourced properly and they build a sort of resiliency so that when they are on their own, when they're in college, they can find the resources that they need in order to thrive. A little bit about me. So I'm the program manager. I hopped on this past year. I was volunteering through AmeriCorps. And then, one thing led to another. With COVID, I got into a certain situation, and Liz really took a chance on me. She said, there was a large increase in our student enrollment into College Bound. And, Liz, just being her, She said, you know what, I'll take on Samantha. I need an extra person to help out. So now I am managing all 3 of our programs, our middle school junior RISE program, our high school RISE program, and our college food pantry program.
You mentioned RISE. What is going on with RISE? Tell us about that.
So RISE, it stands for Reaching Impact Through Student Excellence. So our RISE program is working with high school seniors at East Valley Institute of Technology, Sequoia Charter School, and we're hubbed at the CTE school, EVIT. So through EVIT, we can work with students from about 11 school districts. And these students, they're probably considering entering into the workforce really soon. But at EVIT, they might have a sort of base level certification, and we want to let them know that they have these resources beyond EVIT, that, you know, if it's a financial sort of situation for them, there are options to go to school for free or at a very affordable cost. So we do have a sort of 8-step program that carries them from high school, their end of high school, into college and through college. So we start off with our first session. We get them to apply to a college. We let them know about MCC's Promise program and ASU's Obama scholarship, just how those can fund their education for either 2 or 4 years, depending on which school they're going to. And then we work with them through the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA. It can be a long process for those who have undocumented parents who themselves might have different sort of parent situations. It can get really technical. You do need your taxes for that. You need your parents' taxes. So we help them through the entire process. We tell them, get your social security number, put that in. Let's work with, your parents as well. We need them to create an account, and then we walk them step by step through it. And then we have them check their ASU portal, their MyASU account. That is something that they're going to be returning back to if they go to ASU, to check on their scholarships, their awards, whether or not they need to do some verification checks, and any other information that they need to start providing their school in order to begin and finish that enrollment process. And then we help them with scholarships. Looking for scholarships, we offer our own laptop and book scholarships. And then we help them with budgeting and financial literacy, because I know from my personal experience, my first year in college, I blew my money. I didn't know how to manage it. So we really work with our students, and we let them know, even if you have scholarships, this is where you should think about where your money is going. There are like direct costs, indirect costs. There's money coming in and there's money going out. Let's make sure the money coming in is, above the money going out. And then we also work on their resumes, because most of our students are going to be working a part-time job while they are attending college in order to make ends meet. Yeah.
That's awesome. How many students have you helped attend college?
So this past year alone, about 300 students have applied to be a part of our program. So we are working with over 50% of EVIT's senior population. And that sort of whittles down as students sort of get a sense of what they want to do. Some of them are going straight into the workforce, so they maybe are no longer in need of our services. We do check in on them, but I am working intimately with about 200 students. I bother them. I email them all the time. I'm sending them chats through Remind. And I see a lot of them maybe weekly or bi-weekly, just to make sure that they are really getting all of their applications in. At this point, we have sent about 500 students to college. And this year alone, we are sending another 200 students to college. Just the effects that COVID had, our population has increased by maybe 4 to 5 times because school counseling, it's all been transferred to an online platform. They've already had a bit of trouble contacting their high school counselors before, and now with everything being online, with things being a little bit more difficult, that home life, school dynamics have all kind of blended together. It's very hard for students to reach out to the counselors, or if they do, to have that sort of consistent communication with them so that the students get to where they want to be.
Well, I know you mentioned technology and you've helped students with laptops. I think you have a story about helping out with seniors too. Would you like to share that with us?
Definitely. So with COVID, a lot of the placement tests that the students have to take, they are now online. A lot of different assessments they have to take are now online, and the technology they have might not be compatible for the testing, the camera requirements that these new exams require. So we've made an effort in the past year and then this year as well to help supply our lowest SES, our most the students who are in the most need, to have a laptop with all those compatibilities, with a good webcam, which can, you can take tests on. We're helping them, supply them laptops. So this year, we have received some funding from different grants, different individual donations, and now we have 35 laptops we can gift students this year. And we are still applying for more grants. We are still accepting donations to supply even more students with laptops. So we have about 60, a little bit over 60 students who do have an estimated family contribution of about $0. So it's these students we really want to hone in on and make sure that they are set to go to college. Because even if they receive this Obama award, right? So if you have a 3.0 GPA, if you are Pell eligible based on your FAFSA, if you have a family income of $42,400 and less, they can get the Obama scholarship, which is 4 years free tuition, housing, books, fees. But they're still, if they don't have a computer, how are they going to thrive in college? If they don't have a good enough computer, even without thinking about COVID, we are moving to a digital platform. All of our assignments are now online. Students have to learn how to navigate different portals. And so if you're not equipped with that sort of technology, it's very difficult to progress, even if you are given the funding in order to stay in college for 4 years. But you need that technology, those sort of tangible resources in order to thrive and stay in college.
How do students find College Bound and get enrolled in the program?
Yeah, so we work at EVIT and Sequoia. I believe we're trying to expand to different schools into the future. But right now, what we do is we are officed in EVIT's main campus in Mesa. So we send out announcements through their emails, through the school announcements, and we have them fill out an application form. This information gives us just a little bit of knowledge about them, make sure that their parents know that they're getting involved also. So yeah, we're mostly hubbed at EVIT. So we're mostly working with students who are at the CTE school. And just in the past year, we've kind of broadened our reach. So before we might have worked with students just in terms of ASU, but now we're working with students who want to go to BYU, who want to go to NAU, U of A. I know there might be some students who are interested in going to Harvard. We have a student going there. So with that sort of broad outreach and the support of EVIT and Sequoia Charter School, we're able to reach these 200 plus kids.
That's great. Well, I know that you're doing great things. Boy, help these kids gain some technology skills, because if you don't, it's challenging as you get older and you don't know what you're doing. I'm the model student for that. I just got a MySpace account. So, feeling pretty good about that. Samantha Hui, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, and keep up the good work. And we expect a lot of great things out of College Bound in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. Wow, that's interesting. That's good stuff.
Liz has put a lot of work into this.
Yes.
Yeah, over the years, she really has been a one-woman show until recently. Yeah.
Well, and it's, we're all so wrapped up in what COVID has done to us personally that you don't stop and think about, or I don't stop and think about all the peripheral stuff. And like she said, it's just slammed because, you can, no matter what's going on in the real germy world, you can always get online and do some stuff. So College Bound, good stuff. It's time for our main guest, Sally. This is exciting, and I know you have a great relationship with Dr. Fourlis. Let me just read this off, because otherwise I'll mess it up, and I don't want to mess it up in front of the doctor.
Get it right.
I'm going to get it right. Yeah. Mesa Public Schools is the largest school district in Arizona, serving just under 60,000 students in a diverse community. MPS employs over 9,000 employees who serve 85 schools and many departments to serve students and community. Our main guest today is the Mesa Public Schools Superintendent, Dr. Andi Fourlis. Dr. Fourlis, welcome to Mesa Morning Live.
Well, thank you so much, Mark. I'm excited to be here today. Thank you.
Well, it's good to have you. When I say here, it's good to have you on camera with us. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. Why don't you tell us maybe a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, how you ended up where you are, and I'll just kind of open up the floor for you.
Sounds great. I appreciate that. So I'm an Arizona native, born in Flagstaff, Arizona. Spent my entire educational career in the state of Arizona. Been raised through the public school system and have been a career educator since 1991, where I started out as a teacher and then moved my way through district office to the superintendent of Mesa Public Schools. I've been in Mesa Public Schools for 4 years, and the first year as a superintendent, which is, if you can imagine, first year as superintendent during a pandemic. So I will have many, many stories to tell for many, many years.
So when you were receiving your education, was there any talk about here's how you do stuff when there's a worldwide pandemic? Did that ever come up?
No. And if there was, I must have been multitasking and doing something else. So, no, absolutely not. We are well conditioned to learn how to respond to many different situations, but never can I recall any type of formal education on how to do school during a pandemic. I missed that one.
Well, when things get tough, just remember this: you're handling it better than anyone's ever handled it. In this,
I appreciate that.
Same situation. Well, it's something that unfortunately we have to talk about. What has COVID done to Mesa Public Schools? How's this? I know you could talk for hours on this, but what would you like to say? How's COVID affected you?
Well, while COVID has broken many of our hearts and created a lot of trauma within our community, it's also providing hope. So as I think about the trauma that has happened in our communities, we have children that I've been doing listening sessions, virtual listening sessions with our students. And the stories that they're telling about the importance of in-person learning, what they have missed while we were out of school was all about relationships. So we know that we've got a lot of work to do to bring our kids back up to what they expect out of school, which is all about relationships, not just with one another, but also with their teachers, with their administrators, and with the entire community that serves them. So that's been a huge challenge. Many children just really have slipped into all of the ill effects of isolation, whether it be severe anxiety or depression. We're having to spend a lot of time paying attention to that. And then when I think about hope, we know that the public school system, the industry of public education, has not served all children for many, many, many years. And so this pandemic has shown us, put a really bright spotlight on those areas that we need to improve. And so we have come together as an educational community, and we now have this common goal. How are we going to come out of COVID stronger than we ever were before? And so we've learned a lot of lessons around how we can be better for our students. So that's the part of hope.
How should the community on the whole, and also the viewing audience today, what should they know about what's going on at Mesa Public Schools?
Well, let me tell you about Mesa Public Schools. We started off in 2017, our governing board adopted the Mesa Public School Promise, and that is to know our students by name, serve them by strength and need, so that they graduate ready for college, career, and community. And that is an aspirational goal that we have. That is a promise to all of our community, because whether you are representing the workforce or that you have children that have been through the school system, or you are a child in the system, or you're a parent of kids in the system, that is a promise about making our community and our world better. So we are very committed to that. We really have dissected that particular promise through COVID. What does it mean to know a student by their name and serve them by strength and need during COVID? So we have thought long and hard about that. We're spending a lot of time understanding strength and need. And so what we are learning through COVID is that strength and need means that families and students need to have choices. A one-size-fits-all approach we know has not worked in public education, but we know for sure during the time of COVID that we have to think differently about how we educate our students. So that is a commitment of working towards that promise. So when we talk about students graduate ready for college, career, and community, what does that mean? What does it mean to be ready for college, career, and community? It's so interesting that we had the leaders of Benedictine, and we had Ms. Hui with us here today talking about getting our kids into college. There is an entire intentional system that needs to happen for kids to progress from preschool all the way through higher education and into the world of college and career. So we have to put those partnerships together to make sure that we understand them and we understand them well. So what we did is we went out to our community. We spent about 18 months asking, what does it mean to be college, career, and community ready? As a parent, what is it that you want from your children when they cross that finish line? What do they need to know and be like when they graduate? We asked our business partners, we asked our students, we asked our teachers, we asked our administrators, our support staff. What does that mean? And so what came out of that is we developed the portrait of the Mesa Public School graduate. And that portrait of the graduate are everything that doesn't show up in academics. So for example, our community says that a portrait of the Mesa Public School graduate, that graduate needs to be ethical, inclusive, and they need to be resilient. So we talk a lot about what does that mean. In COVID, we've learned a lot what it means to be resilient, well, a lot what it means to be inclusive. And what does it mean to be empathetic and to truly understand the positions of others and to be inclusive. So then we talked about essential skills. Those essential skills are what we've talked about on this show already today. We've talked about, you talked about the partnership with the Cahoots coming into Benedictine. An entrepreneur mindset is all around collaboration, communication, problem solving, critical thinking, creativity. Those are the skills in the portrait of the Mesa Public School graduate. So when we tell our viewers today what's going on in Mesa Public Schools, we have an incredible promise that we are committed to delivering on. And that means that we need to harness every piece of our energies to put into our kids so that they graduate with all of those attitudes and skills that I talked to you about in the portrait of the Mesa Public School graduate. So I'll stop there for a minute, see if you've got some questions, and then I can keep on going.
Well, I know that you guys, Mesa Public Schools, has partnered with the Mesa Chamber, and so
Absolutely.
My co-host, the great Sally Harrison, how has that worked out? Sally, would you like to speak to that?
I would, actually. It's been quite a month, actually. Andy and I had some conversations about the students and the struggling that they had been through over the last year, and knowing the mental health issues that we've had in, it's probably the last 4 years now, and the lives that we've lost due to teen suicide. I had heard about an opportunity through Republic Media and a platform that they had, and so I approached Andi and asked if we could maybe partner up and have a writing contest. And so we met with some of her team and pulled together what we thought was going to be a really great platform and opportunity for students and some teachers to really just share their feelings, and we titled it Resilience Through a Pandemic. It was a month-long contest, so students and teachers could go online and they could write their essays, and we did that in partnership and with some sponsors, Core Construction and our friends at Cigna and Community Bridges all stepped up to help us. And so today, I believe Dr. Fourlis has got some names to actually announce our winners.
We're going to announce the winners of the contest?
We are, yeah.
Well,
We are.
Yeah.
We are, and this is a perfect example of that portrait of a graduate coming to life, where our community said our kids need to be resilient. They need to be resilient when they graduate. So what a better way than to focus on that attribute of resiliency during this pandemic. So Sally, if you are ready, I am going to start off with announcing begin with our grades 3 through 4 winners. Then I'll go on to grades 5 through 6, then 7 and 8, 9 through 12, and then our Mesa Public School employees. Does that sound good?
Perfect.
Excellent. So I will, here we go. Grades 3 through 4. We have 3 winners in each category. So I'm going to read each of those. We have Navy Halverson from Zaharis Elementary, who is our first winner in the grades 3 through 4 category, followed by Annalisa Torres from Highland Arts Elementary, and Chelsea Reeves from the Mesa Academy for Advanced Studies. So a big round of applause for our 3rd through 4th graders. And then moving on, grades 5 through 6, we have Landon Isignoma from Washington Elementary, Cecilia Flores from Edison Elementary, and Kendall Vonberg from Mesa Academy for Advanced Studies. So congratulations to our 5th through 6th graders. And moving on to 7th and 8th, we have Alexis Kelly from Mesa Academy for Advanced Studies. We have Brooke Palfazar from Rhodes Junior High, and Vera Milligan, also from Rhodes Junior High. So congratulations to our junior high students. And then moving on to high school. We have Dallin Bowers from Mountain View High School, Shelby Martinson from Red Mountain High School, and Efren Trejo Pantaleon from Mesa High School. 3 high schools represented, so congratulations to you. And 3 employees. We have Alyssa Fisher from Los Sendas Elementary. We have Cindy Peterson from our transportation department. And we have Gina Mazuko from Skyline High School. So a nice representation that we'd like to congratulate. Way to go. And Sally, you want to tell them what they will be receiving?
Sure.
I know that our writers know what they will be receiving,
Yeah.
but love for you to share the generosity to our community.
Well, thanks to our sponsors, we have $200 Amazon gift cards for all the winners. I know, yeah.
Awesome.
Nice prizes, yeah, we're excited. I have to say, I had the opportunity and the honor, really, to partner up with one of the sponsors, and we read through all the entries for the grades 9 through 12. And I think I texted Andi kind of late on a Sunday night, basically saying, some of these kind of stop you in your tracks because the stories are just so powerful. You've got kids who had to step up and translate for a parent because their job, status had changed, and just all kinds of stories. And it was pretty powerful. I think we had about 160 entries total, and I'm proud that we were able to do that, and I'm really honored that we got these sponsors to step up and participate with us.
That was awesome. Well, I was going to ask you, put you on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
you can't speak to one particular essay or project, but what was the overarching general feel of these contestants? Was it just perseverance?
Yeah, we read the 9 through 12, myself and one of the other sponsors, and from that grade level, or those grades, really the story was about the isolation piece more than anything. Being home, not being around their friends, having to transition to online school, not being able to see family, having family pass away. A handful of them had lost family members or close friends to COVID. Just, so many changes in their lives, and, they're young. It's tough.
Well, when I read in your intro, Dr. Fourlis, when you read 60,000 students, that's just a big number. But you have to stop and think that these are all little individuals, and that's just one component of the family. It just branches out. It's just it's an amazing amount of lives that you're dealing with on a daily basis. And this has been tough on everybody. And boy, as tough as it has been on us grown-ups, kids are going through this is really a challenge.
Yeah. Well, there were stories where children became parents, taking care of their younger siblings and having to try and get them set up on their Zoom calls and, trying to help them with homework. Just story after story like that. Just really kind of heartbreaking, but also very heartwarming to watch kind of their struggles in the beginning, and now they feel like they came out stronger from some of them. So really good stories.
Well, Doctor, not to put any more pressure on you, but I heard a story the other day that I thought was kind of apropos for the times. John McEnroe, the great dynamic, temperamental, maybe, tennis player, years ago, he took a year off. I think he had some medical issues and some personal issues, and he took a year off. And when he came back, an announcer said, "John, you've taken a year off. What does that do to you?" And he said, I feel like I've taken 2 years off, because not only did I take a year off where I didn't gain any talent, those around me improved their game. So I really feel like I'm 2 years behind. I kind of, these young kids feel like, man, they're to be socially behind an extra year now. You've really got your work cut out for you, not only academically, but to integrate them in and get them ready, like you say, for the next phase of their life. This is I know you didn't have enough pressure on you. I wanted to dump that on you on this.
Well, I have to tell you, we read a lot in the world of education right now about learning loss, and I would really like to talk to our community about turning that phrase around. I think we need to ask our kids, what have you learned? Because we now have first and second graders that can navigate a virtual call. They can do a virtual meeting. They can drag and drop. They can upload. They can create folders to share their documents and their work with one another. So I think the best question that we can ask our kids is, what have you learned? Because if we approach the pandemic as a deficit, we will continue to align our resources to dig a hole for kids, and that's not what Mesa Public Schools is committed to. We want them to have hope and a bright future, which means we are going to accelerate based on where they are and take them to that next level. So you didn't put any pressure on me. We're looking way beyond and saying, kids, taught us what you've learned. Teachers, what have you learned? And let's take it from there and move forward. So it's been a huge learning experience for all of us.
Well, and I think the one thing that we're all going to be grateful for is, all the things that you didn't like about getting up and getting ready and going to meet people. I can't wait to do all that again. So I think
I can't wait.
Yeah, I think it's going to really that first day back for school is going to be pretty awesome.
And we've been in school. 72% of our instructional days throughout this year, we have provided in-person learning to families who have wanted it with high levels of mitigation. So I can't wait until the first day of the next school year where we have more of our kids back in in-person learning.
That is fantastic. Sally, anything else you'd like to ask or share or brag about? Because I know she's very modest.
Well, she is. She's got a great team. She works really hard. I know she doesn't have any downtime, but I want to brag that both Kevin and Andi are chamber board members.
Well,
I get to work with them on that side too.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just a matter of time. She's still with us. Samantha will be a member soon. She doesn't know it, but we've spun her into our little web here, and once you're in,
There you go.
you can't get out. So,
Yeah.
well, anything else you'd like to say for these three before
Oh my gosh, no, you know, just seeing the education component to Mesa, you know, we've got this huge school district, we've got great higher ed, there's just a lot going on and a lot of excitement about what's happening in Mesa, and there's just more good things to come, I think, than bad.
That's great. Well, you know,
Bad's behind us.
we always, every episode of Mesa Morning Live, we brag about what a great city Mesa is.
It is.
And every month it gets bigger and a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it comes in incremental stages, but the one constant is if you don't have great students and great, you know,
A workforce.
a workforce. That's right. And why do these companies? Yeah, they love the sunshine and 75 degrees and spring training and all that, but they're not going to come to a place that doesn't have a good workforce.
Yeah,
And you guys, you three in particular, are responsible for a lot of that. So keep developing your little segment of what makes Mesa such a great place to live, work, play, and retire. And by the way, Kevin, I think maybe you and I should maybe go out to Las Sendas and take a good look at that golf course and see if it is really up to par.
Oh, jeez.
That was unintentional. And we should maybe talk about this over a round of golf.
You're right. I mean, it does seem like the right thing to do.
Well, and that's, you know, if you know me, you know it's always about the right thing to do.
For sure.
Sally is laughing hysterically here. But, well, we thank you guys very much for taking time. You're all incredibly busy. We're all trying to navigate through these weird times. And thanks for being a part of March's Mesa Morning Live. We also, Doctor, we'd like to have you once we're back in person. We'd love to have you come back to Mesa Morning Live, and Samantha and Kevin, and greet everybody in person and talk about what's happened and truly, like you said, Doctor, what we've all learned. So I thank you for that.
I appreciate it. I'll take you up any day.
All right, that's great.
Thank you.
Well, with that said, we're going to call this. Anything else you'd like to add to March?
Gee, thank our sponsor, Benedictine.
Oh, yeah, of course, Benedictine, and that B is awesome. That's just a great, a great logo.
It's a great building.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and it's growing. Downtown Mesa. Boy, downtown Mesa is just. There's more cranes in the air here than pretty much any other part of the valley.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
Getting bigger and better.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being a part of March's episode of Mesa Morning Live. We're going to do it again in April. We're going to do it every month. One of these days, we'll be back in person.
Yes, we will.
But in the meantime, go out and make it a great day. Do your part to make Mesa, as we always say, a better place to work, play, live, retire, and to call home. So with that in mind, Sally, thanks for being a great co-host.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next month, Mesa Morning Live.